Isn't there something pure about Jim Harbaugh going up against Big Bro John Harbaugh? Little Monday Night Football, first time since the Super Bowl. That was a lot of fun. Welcome into Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Ravens win on Monday Night Football 30-23 as 62-year-old John beats 60-year-old Jim. Lamar Jackson, 3 total touchdowns in the win. I got a lot of thoughts as the Ravens win the Harbaugh here on Monday night. Baltimore improves to 8-4. Chargers fall to 7-4. Big game in the AFC playoff picture for a lot of different reasons. So stay tuned, rock and roll with us. We'll talk about the playoff implications as well as Week 12 comes to a close. Guys, listen, we got to reach 5,000 subscribers. You guys have been balling. You guys have been showing up. Now we got to spread the word. We need more subscribers here on this show. We're 330 subs away. I'm covering every big game, NFL, college football. We're reacting to it all. Tomorrow, the next batch of college football playoff rankings come out. We're also going to do a little NFL hot seat meter after Week 12. Several coaches could be on the hot seat. Join us for all of it. We're going to be here. We're going to rock. We're going to roll. Do not miss out here on Four Verts. Let's get to 5,000. We're 330 away, 330 subs away, 5,000, a huge milestone on YouTube. Let's make it happen. Okay, Baltimore wins 30-23, and I don't want to say they had to have it, but this was a big game. One, a loss tonight, you know, you don't take advantage of Pittsburgh losing on Thursday night. So that would have been not ideal for Baltimore. And two, you actually fall you fall even further back in the 6th seed spot with the loss. Instead, you leapfrog the Chargers into the top spot in the AFC wildcard picture, which is the 5 seed, as you pull a half game ahead of LA. And of course, now you have the head-to-head, which could pay dividends if Baltimore doesn't win the division. I thought Baltimore was the better team tonight. The Chargers certainly had chances. Brutal night for my guy, Quentin Johnston. Some of you may know, some of you may don't. I'm a TCU alum. He had a rough rookie year last year. He's actually played pretty well this year, but man, the yips returned tonight. He dropped a critical 3rd and 6 little drag route where it was a great design by Greg Roman. He was going to catch the ball with space and maybe go for 20, 30 yards. If you remember the TCU Michigan Fiesta Bowl a couple of years ago, similar play where you just get him the ball on the run with blockers. In that game, he scored. I don't think he would have scored here, but he would have gotten 20, 30 yards here and a key first down. It was 24-16 at the time. He drops it. Ravens get the ball back, score, take a 30-16 lead, never really look back. He had a drop later in the game, had a third one that probably wouldn't count as a drop, but one you'd like to see him play. Like, he clearly just got into his head after he dropped that first one. So rough night for him. Couple of contested catches that Josh Palmer didn't make. I think one thing that's clear, and I think we kind of knew this, but Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers had some tough financial decisions to make this offseason to get under the cap, and they opted to keep Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa over Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They traded Keenan Allen, they cut Mike Williams. And I'm not saying that was the wrong decision, but I think in the last few weeks, and you've seen it times this year, the weapons have let Herbert down at times. Now, again, Johnston's had a decent year. Palmer's a decent player. Ladd McConkey's a solid rookie, but they're lacking a true big-time receiving weapon. And listen, I respect Jim Harbaugh's philosophy to build in the trenches. He opted to draft Joe Alt instead of draft Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas or Omadunze or whoever. And I got no issues with that. But I do think moving forward, they're going to have to add another playmaker, whether it's signing T. Higgins or drafting another receiver at some point. I'm not saying you got to go pay $30 million a year for some guy, but this batch of guys, you need one more guy so you can knock everybody down a peg. Like, ideally, you get a true number one, McConkey's your 2, and Johnston's your 3. I mean, that's kind of the ideal setup if they can make that happen, because McConkey's having to try and be the one. He's not a one. He probably never will be. Johnston at times has looked the part, but he's inconsistent. Has a limited route tree. It's just they're one big time playmaker away from this offense being really good because Herbert's awesome. Obviously, they can run the ball pretty well. Although J.K. Dobbins got hurt tonight, so we'll keep an eye on that. But remember, this is year one. They had some roster financial things they had to clean up. This is the worst roster Jim will have. Like, it's only going to get better. So if I'm a Chargers fan, sure, I'm disappointed. We left some plays out there, but I'm not feeling discouraged tonight. This is still a playoff team. Whereas if you're the Ravens, it's like, okay, back on track. Efficient game from Lamar, 16 of 22, 177, 2 touchdowns, rush for another one. That's the formula. With Derrick Henry running 24 times for $140. 22 pass attempts for Lamar, that's perfect. Like, if you can keep him under 30 pass attempts and ideally under 25, that's ideal because that means you're running the ball effectively with Henry. Lamar's running it. Ideally, he rushed for a touchdown, only had 8 carries for 15 yards, but always a threat there. Justice Hill had a long 51-yard touchdown run. Like, they want to be a run-first team and throw the ball off of that. And that's kind of what they did tonight. Todd Monken, I thought, called a really good game, and they were just balanced. They had right at 400 yards of total offense. So, really effective offensive performance. I thought Baltimore's defense played better tonight. I mean, one of the Chargers' touchdowns there was in the final 45 seconds in garbage time. Again, it was 30-16. Again, Chargers, helped them out with some drops, but Baltimore's defense this year hasn't been great. Chargers had come in playing pretty well, and I thought Baltimore was more physical tonight, and it was kind of a classic Harbaugh game. There were some hard hits. There were some big plays. The coaching was good. Some tight moments, especially from the Chargers. But that was a fun Monday night game. I'll tell you what, we've been pretty spoiled with these primetime games this year. The Thursday night slate's been pretty good most of the year. The Sunday night games have been solid. Good game here tonight. So I got no complaints. That was a fun game to watch. Not the cleanest game of all time, but it's a game in the fourth quarter with the Harbaugh brothers teeing up against each other. You can't really ask for much more than that. So definitely very, very fun. I think moving forward, Baltimore's the better team right now. They got better players. They got a better roster. Even if you want to say the quarterbacks are a push, I think Baltimore's got more playmakers overall. But again, Baltimore is supposed to be better right now. The Chargers, their outlook was maybe they contend for the 7th seed, like coming into the year, like that would have been a good scenario. Well, they've overachieved that. Like, they've surpassed that. They're likely going to be the 6th seed. Now, maybe Denver catches them, who knows? But I think that's pretty unlikely. This is a big one for Baltimore to get to 8-4 because if they lost tonight and fall into 7-5, all of a sudden you got the Eagles next week. Pressure, is a little off now in that Philly game. It's not a must-win. Even if you lose that, you're 8-5. Then you go to the Giants. You're going to win that game, so you'd get to win 9. Now, if you beat Philly, get to 9-4. Well, then you're 10-4 because you're not going to lose to the Giants. And then you got the rematch with the Steelers for first place on the line, in all likelihood, on December 21st, the week of Christmas, before a Christmas Day game at the Houston Texans, which could be a big game as well. So, big win for Baltimore. Whereas the Chargers on the other side, their schedule isn't quite as brutal down the stretch. At Atlanta next week won't be easy. Then at the Chiefs, those are tough, both tough. But if you could split those, Bucks, you get them at home. Broncos, you get them at home. Again, not layups, but manageable games. At New England, at the Raiders. So 6 games left. You win those final 2 roadies, which you should. So that gets you to 9 wins. You really only have to win 1 of these next 4. But if you split them, you're a 10-11 win team. I mean, and that's, in year 1 of Jim Harbaugh with this roster, that's good-ish, but not as good as it's going to be. That's a huge win, and you're a dangerous playoff team. You're a dangerous 6 seed, for example. So I watched this game tonight. I think they're both playoff teams. I think Baltimore's got a better shot of being a Super Bowl contender if the defense can keep ascending. It's got to build off tonight's performance. I don't think the Chargers are quite there, but I do think they're a team that can win a playoff game. I really, really do. And, before we get out of here, you look at the AFC playoff picture. Chiefs. I'll say this: with the Chargers losing tonight, Chiefs pretty close to clinching the AFC West. They probably got to get 2 more wins to lock that up. I think 12-5 is pretty safe there to win the division, with the Chargers having 4 losses and the Broncos having 5. Buffalo with the 2 seed right now at 9-2. Pittsburgh at 8-3, but I still like Baltimore to win this division. I think they beat Pittsburgh in the rematch. And then the Texans there at 7-5 with the 4 seed leading the AFC South. I don't think the Texans are very good. CJ Stroud's had a bit of a sophomore slump. Now, their offensive line's had issues. Diggs gets hurt. It's not all on him. I'm not saying that, but I think they're going to win that division by default. But if you told me they played the Chargers, the Ravens, or the Steelers in that 4-5 matchup, I like the wild card team to win that game in Houston if things don't change quickly. Chargers at 7-4 behind Baltimore at 8-4. Baltimore 5 seed, Chargers 6 seed. Denver at 7-5. Dolphins, big game coming up. Packers on Thanksgiving. If they can win in Lambeau, it would show me a couple of things. One, they are proving that they can win a big cold weather game, which under Tua has been a problem. And 2, they'd be right in the thick of getting a wild card spot. Be 4 straight wins. Tua's been playing well. Offense has been cooking. But now you got a tough test on the road against a premier NFC team in cold weather. What are you going to do? You're going to go win a game that you got to win? Because I'm not taking anything away from these last 3 games, but this is the type of game Tua and Mike McDaniel have not won. Can they win this game on the road in not ideal conditions when you kind of have to have it? You lose this game, fall to 5-7. Denver wins again for next week to get to 8-5, or in 2 weeks. I guess they got the bye week coming up. You're in trouble. I mean, you got to get this game if you're Miami. So I think a mental test, I think a psychological one. We all know the numbers in cold weather for Tua. It's time to go prove it now. It's time to go win a game of this caliber if you're the Miami Dolphins. So great opportunity for them. Great game tonight. Really fun to watch. Again, big picture, I think the Chargers need at least one more weapon, maybe 2, but for sure 1. And for Baltimore for this year, if they can tighten up a little bit more on defense, they're just so explosive. They went 5 drives, touchdown, 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 field goal. Or touchdown, 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 field goal, I think. I think it was 5 straight drives, 30 points or whatever it was. They could score in a hurry. Todd Monken's done a great job, their OC. Aikman mentioned it tonight, and I agree with him. I think he'll get some head coach interviews. We'll see if he gets an opportunity. But, for Baltimore, it's about peaking at the right time and playing well in the playoffs. Derrick Henry, good game again tonight. He had a couple not-so-good games the last couple weeks. Tonight, they rode him more, 140 yards. And I think that's the recipe. Run Derrick Henry, throw off of him, stay balanced, control tempo, and, this isn't going to be an elite defense, but can it be above average? That's what you need it to be if the offense is going to play like this to have a chance to win playoff games. All right, that's going to do it for me here on a Monday night. We're going to get out of here. Subscribe if you want more NFL and college football content. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys tomorrow.